Chris Brintle. Chris Brintle.
News Talk 1270 KIML. Don Carpenter Show. Welcome back, 8:32, and Chris Brintle joining us.
DC.
So I have a question for you. Have you heard of Cecil the Lion before yesterday?
I still haven't heard of him.
Okay. Well, this is the big outrage story yesterday. Of course, the third Planned Parenthood video came out where they actually showed doctors haggling over parts of babies in a pie tin.
Ugh.
That didn't even move the rate. That wasn't even a blip on the radar compared to Cecil the Lion. Apparently, a dentist from Minnesota, went on a safari. He paid a bunch of money to go on one of these safaris, and the guides, the guys that show him around, baited the lion. He says he didn't know, so I'll take his word for it. He says he didn't know, but they baited this lion, drew the lion that was, I guess, a famous lion that lived in a preserve. They drew it out of the preserve into public areas, and the guy shot the lion, and shot it first with a bow and then finished it off with a rifle. I guess that's how you shoot lions. I really don't know. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about big game hunting, but this is. I've talked about this before. People are upset about this. They've never heard of this lion. It's another lion. I mean, maybe he was famous within the confines of that preserve in Zimbabwe, and maybe the guides misled this guy because they're getting paid a bunch of money to make sure that he gets a lion.
That's what I started to say. You pay a ton of money for these. So
yeah, I think
they may not have told this guy.
Well,
so this guy really didn't do anything wrong. It would be unethical, let's say, if he knew about it, because that's not really hunting. But at the same time, who cares? It's a lion. It's a lion.
Well, and here's the thing.
He's there to shoot a lion.
Here's the thing. My problem with this is more the response that people, especially people in this country, have done. He's gotten thousands of death threats within a couple days. He's gotten thousands of death threats. Online reviews of his business were attacked. He got thousands of bad reviews from people that never visited his business. He's had to shut down his dentistry business because people are threatening him. People are coming after this guy for doing what it's legal in Africa. I mean, you have to have special permission. You have to pay the authorities, and you do all this stuff, and all that money goes towards conservation. And we've talked about that before. I even have an article from a large cat conservation group called Panthera. Not Pantera, like the band.
Not the band, but...
well, it actually might be pronounced Pantera, but there's an H in there. And they're the Wildcat Conservation Group. And there's a article by a guy that says, look, he's the executive vice president of this group. He says he's disgusted by large game hunting of cats, lions and tigers and panthers and that kind of stuff. He's disgusted by it, but without these hunters and the money they pay, they wouldn't be able to do any of their work.
Oh, yeah.
And these animals would be going extinct without the conservation efforts of these hunters. And that's the problem I have with this, is that what you're going to see and what you're already seeing is people just reading a clickbait headline on Yahoo News or something like that, and they get all upset that this famous lion was killed, and it might have been illegal. If it's illegal, he'll probably be barred from going back to Zimbabwe. And the guys that the guides that brought him to the lion, they'll be arrested. That's what happens. And I don't know if I'd want to be in prison in Zimbabwe. They'll find out if it was illegal and do whatever is necessary if it's illegal. But people are going to ruin this person's life, and they'll do it anonymously behind their keyboards online. I mean, that's the scary part about all this.
Well, I think the worst part, though, is you're talking about the uproar over some lion. Meanwhile, you mentioned earlier in the segment about the doctors haggling over, parts of a fetus after an abortion.
Yeah.
And there's hardly no uproar over that. And that's not even hardly in the news.
Absolutely not.
How come there's not people outside of Planned Parenthood all across this country?
Who knows?
The liberals have it right as far as protesting is concerned.
It's being buried. It's being buried.
It's being buried, but at the same time, the liberals do a good job of going and protesting stuff and trying to shut stuff down.
Oh, yeah.
And on the other side, there's just not a lot of that.
Well, they're destroying this dentist's life, that's for sure.
Plus we have jobs, so
yeah. Well,
it's hard to get out and protest.
That's why I can't protest. I have a job. Let's take a call. News Talk 1270. You're on the air.
I'm not sure if you mentioned this, but the lion was collared, and the collar was removed when the head and the hide was removed. Being that as it is, I'm not a big fan of trophy hunting, but yeah, the abortion thing is over the top, and there needs to be something done about that.
Yeah,
way more than a prize lion in a game preserve or national park or whatever that maybe 1,000 people have gone to.
Well, can you imagine how much it costs just to go look at that lion? I know I couldn't do it. But you're right. I mean, and you are right about the part where it's collared. I mean, it looks like the guides baited this lion out of the preserve. They left food for it and got it to come out of the preserve. So it does appear that this is an illegal shooting. I mean, it's technically poaching, whether the hunter, the dentist guy, whether he knew it or not. The question is, does he deserve to have his life ruined over poaching? I'm not 100% sure of that.
No, I don't think so. And yeah, a lot more has to come out. I mean, a lot of things were said in that article, and a lot of it was unsaid. So they probably need to do an investigation to find out what this guy is actually, guilty of doing. And if that's the case, sure, ban him from hunting in Africa again, fine him or whatever it is, because if it's an illegal hunt, it's an illegal hunt, but it still doesn't compare to abortion. Yeah,
well, and that's the point I'm trying to make. Thanks for the call. I mean, it's excellent points. It does look like there's something going on with this. I mean, I'm not going to defend poaching, that's for sure. But what's going to happen with this is this guy is going to be lumped in with all other big game hunters, and we're going to have the exact same thing every time we have one of these stories with somebody with big game hunting. It's always the same thing. I mean, we've had I don't know, about 6 months ago that the woman that I think she was a model or something at some point, and she's a big game hunter now. The online outrage mob made it so bad that she had to go into hiding. I mean, she was getting so many death threats from anonymous people. She had to go into hiding. And look, I mean, it's something I don't like hunting. I mean, I'm not against it. I support. I understand why it's important. I mean, the conservation part of it. It's just not something I do. I don't like blood.
Well,
Well, now you come from a hunting family. I
do. I used to hunt quite a bit.
Yeah,
actually.
So you ever hunt any exotic animals?
No, no. Not enough money to go do that.
Well, your dad shoots alligators with a handgun.
He does shoot. He does shoot alligators. That was a cool video, by the way. I watched it last week.
Oh, there's video.
Yeah.
I just saw the picture with that big Smith & Wesson 460. That takes guts. I will say it takes guts to, especially with a handgun. Jeez, I mean, what kind of range does he shoot alligators from? Like right on top of them?
This one was real close, yeah. But he can hit it pretty accurate from I don't know how many yards, but still, this one was pretty close. When you have alligators, safe to get up on them probably. But yeah, I shot it. It was pretty nice, but. This guy could have poached. This guy, they could have been involved in something unethical. But the big story is, why is the media running with it?
Yeah.
Why is it? And then the other story they put on the back burner. And it seems like human life just becomes secondary. And
well, and a good way to know what people are talking about and what people are outraged about is to look at the online trends for Twitter and Facebook. You have to look on both, because I think they both, there's a little bit of manipulation going on.
Right.
I honestly believe Planned Parenthood is paying Twitter to not promote their trends. I honestly believe that, because last week and the week before, when the first two videos came out, they were all over the place. It was top of the trends, yet this time not a peep. Let's actually, okay. I mean, I looked for United States trends. Nothing about Planned Parenthood. Denver, you can go by different locations. Nothing under Denver, nothing under United States, nothing under the world. I wouldn't expect the world trends to show that. Absolutely nothing. Now the Deflategate is on top because Robert Kraft is talking as we speak, so I understand that. National Chicken Wing Day.
Oh, I like that. I like chicken wings.
I didn't know it was National Chicken Wing Day. I mean, that's a good thing.
That sounds like lunch.
Yeah, and Windows 10, which I think Windows 10 comes out today. So I understand those, but I'm just flabbergasted that there's absolutely nothing about the Planned Parenthood thing this time.
I'm flabbergasted. Look what Planned Parenthood's done over the past 5 years. They're still going strong. Yep. No opposition. People, if you want to change abortion laws in this country, you have to protest. You have to go out and you have to, I mean, we need people in Washington all the time. It can't just be the Right to Life March once a year. People have to be outside of Planned Parenthood. They have to be protesting in Washington. You have to change it just like the anti-war people did back in Vietnam. That's what has to happen if you're going to change these laws, this barbaric law that allows a mother to kill her baby. And it's just that simple.
And allows the doctor to sell the parts.
And allows the doctor to sell the parts and make money. It's grotesque.
Well, here's the thing. All these people that are sending death threats to a dentist they never heard of, about a lion they never heard of, if they got off their asses and actually did something for real good, they could make a change.
Exactly. Amen.
But instead, they'll just type on their keyboards, "I'm so mad." Hold on. I'll get the keyboard here. "I'm so mad about this lion." That's what it is.
Exactly.
And then tomorrow it'll be something else.
Yeah.
It'll be some other thing that might be mildly scandalous, but not really that important. It's a conspiracy. Okay, what do we have going on in sports?
Rough Rider baseball and NFL news.
Okay, we'll see you tomorrow. News Talk 1270 KIML.
Twitter isn't just for arguing anymore. Follow Basin Radio Network at Radio Basin. Don Carpenter on News Talk 1270 KIML. KIML.